Focus on your strengths, not your weaknesses. If you prioritize weaknesses, you will be weak.
I used to work for Microsoft, so I'm a technical geek. And one day I saw this TV commercial about this character called Vuyo, who started a business selling boerewors rolls on the side of the road, and he grew this into a multi-billion rand empire. And I thought it was based on a true story. And after I discovered it was totally fictitious, I trademarked it and I became Vuyo from that day on. I can't say I was interested in food from childhood onwards, except to say perhaps I've always enjoyed eating food, but I couldn't say no, I had an interest in, for example, cooking. I just liked eating. My mother is an amazing cook. My best memories were from childhood on Sundays when, the roast was on in the oven and the whole house smelled like good food. Those are the best memories. I think business was a dream for me from childhood because I can remember breaking things at home and then trying to figure out how to put them together again as a different product and try and see if I could sell that. So I think that entrepreneurial spirit, or maybe I guess the proper word is just visionary, the ability to see post what something is currently. I think that's always been with me. One of the reasons why I wrote my book was I discovered when I wanted to start my business that there weren't any books written by local entrepreneurs or South African entrepreneurs or people who look like me but have started and grown businesses. All the books I could find were written by guys from Europe who didn't have my shared lived experience. So that was tough because I couldn't refer to someone's expertise. So that's why I actually ended up saying, bugger it, I'm gonna write a book and share some of my experiences along the journey. Because I think you could learn as much from one's attempts or failures as much as you could learn from one's successes. It would be very, very difficult to find any entrepreneurs who've had success the first time round. I certainly didn't. Well, to be honest, I think I've had varying degrees of success, but I can't say on my high bar of what I think success is that I've had it the first time round, but I'm pretty certain it's on its way. I think as an entrepreneur, you always start off with a vision. You've got a route that you would like to take. But as in life, there's twists and turns. The roads are never linear. And what I've discovered and what I've actually really, really enjoyed is that the journey is actually 3 times as fun as perhaps the destination. So I've learned to look at where I am, look at where I would like to go and try and aim for that direction. But if I take a shortcut here, or maybe sometimes I take a longer route, as long as the overall path gets to where I'm going, I'm quite content with that. So I decided that I actually want to give this career that I've now had taken the proper due it deserves. So I went and I studied to become a chef. I used to work from 8 till 5 p.m. every day in my normal day job and running the restaurant. And then from 5 till midnight, I was studying to be a chef and I worked in people's restaurants. It was brutally hard. It was long hours and it's hot in the kitchen. So it's true, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. But I think that experience has rounded me and shaped me in terms of being able to communicate with staff. I can understand what their challenges are. It's given me a totally good view, a well-rounded view of the business. Vuyos is about more than South African chow. And what that is basically looking at all that is quintessentially South African. At Vuyos, we do modern South African cuisine. And what that is basically all that nostalgic food you grew up eating, from umngqushu, oxtail, mogodu, and making it in a modern twist, making it relevant to today's times. And one of my favorite things is when people from all over the world rock up to our restaurants and they try something they've never tried before. Or on weekends, seeing local South Africans saying, oh man, I miss my mom's cooking and you guys just nailed it. My first book was entitled Vuyo, From a Big Dreamer to Living the Dream. And I think that book was mostly about my journey, my entrepreneurial journey, what I had learned, my experiences. I'm currently working on my second book called The CEO, the Chief Entrepreneur Officer, and the subtitle being Every Business Needs a Dreamer. If I were to do it all over again, would I do it the same way? The honest truth is, I don't know. Because I think every decision I made has been situational. So I would assume even back then, or even if I do the same decisions tomorrow, the situations would either be different, or if they're the same, I would have to have courage in my convictions in knowing that the decisions I've made up till now were the ones that I made with the best intentions. My message to fellow entrepreneurs would be curious, be always curious, because I think that is what separates everybody else from being a true entrepreneur. Just figuring out things and wanting to know more. Always be willing to learn. I think that is hectically important. The second one would be, it's going to be hard. It's flipping hard being an entrepreneur. I mean, I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I certainly didn't know it was going to be this damn hard. So the second thing I think you'd need as an entrepreneur is the ability to persist and continue even if everything is telling you to the contrary, and everything is telling you to quit, because that's what life will do. It will beat you down to your lowest common denominator. And the trick, and the guys who do succeed are the guys who stick it out.
How does the world we live in and our changed lifestyle impact on disability claims?
The mega trends shaping the world of work today is the dawn of the digital revolution. This is affecting the way we live and the way we work. It is opening up new possibilities in industry and the world, but with it, it's also bringing a toll on our health. Another point affecting the world of work today is the general economic condition. As companies are under pressure to perform, they are ringing in efficiencies. The biggest issue with the digital revolution is that we are now living in always-on culture. So as such, we have become disconnected to ourselves, we have become disconnected from others around us, and we don't have time to tune in to our own selves to understand what's happening with our bodies. So this brings in people abandoning or neglecting to look after themselves from a health perspective. We set out to understand what is driving the change that we have seen, what are the main changes that the market is seeing, and what can be done to make this benefit more sustainable going forward. We are seeing a greater number of claimants who are high income earners, as well as younger employees. There is a change in behavior that we are seeing among claimants. There is great awareness of the benefit now, as well as there are more inquiries that are coming to our intermediaries around the benefits. Some of the key drivers that are coming out of the insights is the economy is a key impact on the benefits. Stress has become a big issue in the market, causing to increase in the benefits. The recent tax change that we saw in 2015 is also a key contributor to the awareness of the benefit among members. A key output there is that we need to focus more on preventative care as well as rehabilitation to make sure that these benefits are sustainable and we can reduce the number of claims. The survey revealed that 70% of respondents say poor lifestyle is a major cause of disability claims. This can come from poor diet, low exercises, or drinking, and other lifestyle choices. On the other side, 54% of the respondents said stress is a key cause of disability claims. Most corporates are finding that the best way to manage their disability claims is to be more proactive and implement more preventative measures in the health management of employee wellness. 79% of employers say they've got a wellness program, but often it tends to be the short-term type of wellness program, the one that usually is required by medical aid schemes, and not the more holistic and more longer-term kind of employee wellness that will cover both the physical and the mental health, because that is what is actually required to cover the kind of claims that we are seeing. There is definitely a relationship between a weak economic condition and the number of disability claims. What you find in a weak economic condition is the stress related to fear of job losses, and also in the case of retrenchments where they exist, there is also pressure on the people who remain to cover the slack that was left by the people who were retrenched, and that leads to stress among those people. An area of great anxiety for most people is during a weak economic condition, people are financially stressed and, in our case, overly indebted, and this causes a lot of pressure on them that they can't handle work pressures and thereby lead to disability claims. Preventative care and rehabilitation help in the management of disability claims because actually we see that more and more employers have realized that they need to be more proactive in managing disability claims to prevent claims happening in the first place. This in turn leads to an increase in the number of disability claims and therefore costs of the disability benefits. In a normal defined contribution scheme where most employees participate and enjoy this benefit, this leads to either an increase in the cost, which reduces the amount that goes to retirement savings, or a reduction in the benefit itself that they enjoy.
Next week on Mindspace TV, a man who wishes to fix the future. If you want to run with the big dogs, maybe you need a coach. Free financial literacy education is at hand. Retirement and disability insurance made more accessible to SMEs.